We are recording and live streaming whenever you are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I'd like to call the Human Resources and Public Works meeting to order. Could we get a motion about the agenda, please?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as set.
Support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. We have an agenda. Thank you. Call to the public. Do we have any public online or?
There's no one online at this time.
Okay. Then we'll move to our first item, which is consider us accepting the county approval agency for material management planning in Isabella County, as well as appointing material recovery facility director Jake Ford and operations supervisor Charity Sweet as the Isabella County designated planning agency, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Morning, Jake.
Good morning.
Director of the.
This is kind of a busy staff report. There's a lot of different things that's going to happen with it. But I could have broken down into probably 3 different staff reports, but this one is going to get everything done all at once. So what I'm asking for to move forward is that obviously we're just dealing with or discussing the material management planning process. What I'm asking is for the board to sign the interlocal agreement that we are building or working with potentially 8 counties. I expect that Midland is on the same timeline as we are. Next Tuesday, theirs will go in front of the board as well.
They didn't do that the last time because they only meet once a month. I know that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they only meet once a month. So their committee schedule is quite similar. Actually, they're in committee today. And it'll go to the full board next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where we're setting with Midland. They are the last one. They have sent us the letter asking for our interest in working with them.
Is that the one that you emailed out?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that was simple. I mean, not that, it's really short.
Yep. And it's really all it needed to be. It was just
Yeah.
something simple and short, asking, whether somebody wants to participate with us or not.
Right.
But, so what we have for you going forward for signature is going to be the interlocal agreement. That interlocal agreement is here, as you can see, and you have it in your packets. All the counties that are listed. There is a spot on there for actually the chairman of the board to sign.
Of course, yeah.
Appreciate the fun.
And then when
Nice.
that's all done, we will get a fully signed ILA together that will go into the clerk's office and registered at the clerk's office. This will also need to be forwarded on to the state of Michigan. The notice of intent will need to be filed. The County Board of Commission accepting the county approval agency. Also, it's in this as well is setting myself and my operations supervisor Charity Sweet as the designated planning agents within the county. And that pretty much covers everything. So as you can see off of my recommendation, its recommendations is for the board chair to sign the ILA, appoint myself and Charity Sweet as the DPA, file notices of intent, county approval agency as far as for the chair or for the board commission.
Okay, that's pretty clear cut. Any questions? Commissioner,
Their
anybody?
approval or action on notice of intent, or is that just something you submit?
It's something that actually the chairman has to submit. It's there, you actually have to go on and it's an online fill out for it.
So it doesn't look like, do we have an extra? Well, here, you take this agenda so you can see what's on their agenda this morning.
Okay.
Notice of intent is not covered by the first 2 motions on this agenda. So I think from what you're saying, it sounds like maybe we need to craft a 3rd motion for notice of intent
Notice of-
and to authorize the board chair to
Yep.
sign the same or
Yeah,
submit
we-
the same online or
Yep, we will.
electronically. Sounds like we need to add another motion.
Okay, can I get a motion, please?
Sure. Motion to consider is accepting the county's approval agency for material management planning in Isabel County, as well as appoint material recovery facility director Jake Morton and operations supervisor Charity Sweet as the Isabel County designated planning agency and authorize board chair to sign the same.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 4 to the work and regular sessions of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The motion carries. The item will be forwarded to next week's county commission meetings. Okay. Congratulations, man. Things are going really good, I'd say, wouldn't you?
They are, also part of this package, so that you're all aware,
Sure.
is the cover letter that went to all of the counties. Which, that cover letter, the back pages of the most interest out of it. That cover letter shows the amount of, money that would be coming in over a 3-year period to each individual county. All of that's gonna have to be worked through as far as, and approved by each individual county approval agency on how that money is spent. And then it would, all of that would move through the committee itself, Material Management Planning Committee, and then let the per capita money would stay within each county for them to be able to build infrastructure for recycling within the county. But as you can see, there's a fairly significant sum of funds over a 3-year period.
What pages? Oh, right here, right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
There's, I think, somewhere around $560,000 off of all 3 counties for a 3-year period.
I bet you they're glad to hear that, because, some people were kind of uptight about well, there's Isabella County gonna take all the money and all that stuff.
Yep.
Great.
All right.
Well, one more thing. I don't know if you heard, but I contacted the chairman of the Michigan Climate Action Network, which I used to be in, actually started with other people, but anyway, statewide group. And they definitely agree that this is a great effort for climate change. And the chairman said she would help us in any way, communications plan or anything like that. But also she told me she had 120 people in these counties. And I said, well, okay, talk to your county commissioners, help us get this passed. So she might be watching later. And I also and showed to her the progress that we've been making and thanked her for her help. And she's ongoing, just gonna work on it with her and all that stuff. And she's very happy.
You had sent me her contact information. She's added onto both of them, string of emails for the ad hoc committee.
Oh,
as well
great.
As the, material management planning committee.
Great.
I appreciate you doing that for us as well.
Well, there's a natural fit between the two organizations. And she also does, we talked about this. She's also making presentations to schools on climate change and recycling or whatever. So hoping that she'll come here. That's a place to, and we've talked about this before, the place to really do a lot of change on getting more people to recycle and getting the recycling rate higher is kids, right?
The education piece.
Right. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Well, we still have, can you stay up here till we get the third motion? So the next motion will be Jake's too. The next one is for the interlocal agreement.
Okay, right.
And then we'll wanna working on a third one here to cover the NOI.
Great. Efficiency.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is consider approving the interlocal agreement between the County of Isabella, the County of Clare, the County of Gladwin, County of Gratiot, County of Mecosta, the County of Midland, and the County of Ogama to establish and manage a multi-county material management plan and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support.
It's been
Or no?
Yeah.
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 Okay, it's been moved and supported to move item 4 to the public. Well, let's have some discussion about.
Yeah.
About.
No,
this
I agree
first.
with you.
Yeah, okay, that's it. Okay, can we have some discussion about this item, please?
Yeah, the interlocal agreement is something that, we actually, county's legal, they have vetted the interlocal agreement with their approval. There was actually, I don't know exactly how many counties, but there was some participating counties with our legal department or with Cole Stoker and Toskey. There was several counties that use Cole Stoker and Toskey, so they had to send out notices to let them know that we were working on it, that they were a client as well. So we've worked through all of that. And as it stands right now, I think we have 4 or 5 of the signed ILAs in place right now on that interlocal agreement. So
That's a biggie, right?
yeah, that's actually the binding contract that will hold everything together. We are working on bylaws as well for that material management planning committee off of that ILA. So,
And you'll need people to be on that, right? Specifically designated. certain
yes,
people.
the state of Michigan has very specific requirements on who has to be on that as well. Obviously, one of the areas that that we're looking at through the bylaws is that the DPA would have a vote for each county, and then one other county official, and then a county business as well. So it's not going to be a small committee. It'll end up being a very large committee. Whether that's fortunate or unfortunate.
I know what you mean.
We'll work through that process, but and then the other part of that is there's 4 different requirements that would add in the major haulers for them to be able to have a seat at the table. One of at least one of them, but there's a potential that you could have 2 or 3 or 4 major haulers actually is part of that as well. So working with this large of county mass, my guess would be is that probably at least 4 haulers will be at the table. For
Wow.
But what we're also working on with that, with the bylaws is that we want to make sure that the county is protected in a way, the counties are protected in a way that this will not be degraded by the haulers and them being
Good, because
to
they're
run,
already trying to do
how-
stuff like that.
yeah, to run how that committee is or dictate how that committee is run. So we will make them adjustments in language on the bylaws to make sure that that is not the case. They will have a say at the table, but they will not have a majority say.
Sounds great.
Great.
And this is important because this is the committee that will guide the flow of materials, right? And that can demand that things come to our MERS. So pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Solidifies
there's a lot of government work on, when I say it in that nature, because as we continue to move through this committee, there's going to be each individual county we will want them to put ordinances in place to help dictate that flow of material. We'll continue to work down that path to make sure that material is coming to the recycling, Isabella County.
Would this committee also could deal with, there's different resources in the different counties and different situations and all that, but that's what I'm excited about because we can join all our efforts together. So if in Isabella County, we don't have like a big composting program or something, maybe they do somewhere else, or like
Yep.
digesters, all that stuff. Like
Yep.
that could be a vehicle for all that collaboration, right?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. That committee will be able to work through all of that to be able to, our partners in this whole process, to be able to benefit everybody out of it in the end.
Yeah, I think that's really important because it's really hard for counties to submit to being in a bigger organization. I mean, we've seen that before.
And I think that's one of the biggest reasons that Midland decided they was willing to come on board with this is that the collaboration with the surrounding counties, to be able to, they financially have the means, in a little bit better situation than what we are. I by no means mean that they are flush or anything of that nature, but, they very much understand the benefit of being able to, have that partnership with, the surrounding counties.
When did you say their next meeting is?
Committees are today, and then their next board meeting is on, next Tuesday, which I believe is the 16th.
Okay, I might just go to that.
You'll be at a,
You'll be at
you'll
your
be at a
meeting.
commission.
Oh.
meeting,
Well, I guess I can.
sir.
I'll zoom in, or I mean, I'll watch it
Yeah.
later.
And I'm
Can't be
not,
two places. at a time.
and I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna work out, whether, I'm here or whether I end up going to Midland. If I do need to go to Midland, then, Helen will be actually doing my staff report,
Cool.
in front of you as commissioners, so.
Great. Okay, consider approving the interlocal agreement between the county of Isabella, the county of Clare, the county of Gladwin, the county of Gratiot, the county of Acosta, and the county of Midland, and the county of Ogama to establish a management multi-county material management plan and authorize board chair to sign the same.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 5 to the work and regular session of the county commission meetings next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The motion carries. Item 5 will be forwarded to next week's county commission meetings. Thank you, Jake.
Now, this third thing for notice
Oh,
of
right.
intent, this is kind of what I've crafted, so tell me if this helps what we need. Consider approving the submission of the notice of intent for Eagles Material Management Planning and authorize board chair to sign the same.
It's simple and easy. It, because technically, just board notes can, signify all of that, but a motion works a lot better than.
Okay, perfect. And then that sounds like, was that what you had moved?
Yes.
I thought so. You want me
Oh,
to read that again?
sure.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Consider approving the submission of the notice of intent for Eagles Material Management Planning and authorize board chair to sign the same.
Did I get a second on that?
He moved it.
Oh, I'll second.
Perfect.
So it's been moved and seconded to move the item that we just
Notice of intent.
notice and intent to the county board of commissioners, right?
And that notice of intent now is to say, this is what we're doing. We're doing a multi-county material management plan, and this is our intent of how we want to move forward with material management planning.
Yes.
That's basically what it is.
And just a note on that, we as a group have, all 8 counties have filed for an extension on that notice of intent. That notice of intent extension has been granted through August 31st. So it's not a major rush to get that in place, but if it's there, I may ask the chair not to file as of yet to make sure that
Sure, I guess.
we'll want to make sure that all 8 counties have approved it and is all set to go with their notices.
So we're teeing it up.
Yes.
Who's the 8th county?
It is, we have, as it stands right now, we have Clare, Gladwin, McCosta. Excuse me, we have Ogama, Gladwin, Clare, Osceola, and then McCosta, us, Midland, and Gratiot.
So Gratiot came along, huh?
Yes.
That's great.
And they're also named on the ILA.
There's only 7 there. We're missing one then.
There's actually one on the next page. In the county of Osceola.
That's the all.
It's on the packet, right?
I want to get that in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, our meeting next Friday is in Osceola County.
Continued discussion.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, because our next MMP meeting is in Osceola County. They are hosting. One of the things that we'd agreed as a core group. And also so that you're aware, the MMP group will be called the Heartland Material Management Planning Group. So,
Cool.
the intention is just to move it around through each county, so each county has the opportunity to host. So,
Nice.
We vote on that?
You had a motion and a second. You do not yet have a vote.
Okay, great. All those in favor of the motion you just described, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Ayes carry. The extra motion there will be, will be forwarded to the next week's work and regular session of the county commission. Okay,
thank you.
great.
Thank you.
So nice to hear all these positive and kind of fast relative to government action usually. Right?
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Okay. Our next item is consider approving the Pierre Marquette Rail Trail Beautification Project, Mount Pleasant Area Community Foundation Spring 2024 grant agreement for the awarded amount of $6,350 and authorize the board chair to sign the same. And our Park and Rec Director, Alexis Hanson is here. Hi, Alexis.
Good morning. So we sort of doubled up and had already brought this unnecessarily before the board. So you've already heard about this, and this is just at the grant agreement stage. We were approved for partial funding. We had requested 11,000. We've been awarded $6,350 out of the 11,000. However, we're pleased with that. There's no match required. And because this was planned for next year, we have the opportunity to adjust and kind of phase this project yet if we want to. Also, this was based on estimates. This is going to be a custom fab sort of project, so we can really kind of work with the budget that we have and make adjustments. What we are going to do is start with the longest stretches for emergency access, because these gate styles will make emergency access much easier than the current bollards. So we're looking at maps and we're saying, okay, what are the furthest stretches between intersections? We know that there's 1.3 miles between like the Wise Road and Chippewa Road intersection. We'll start with those, for example. So anyways, we're starting to adjust plans based on the partial funding that we received, and we just need the agreement signed off on by the board. It's very straightforward. Just the award from the Community Foundation, no match required.
That was in the paper.
They
had a listing.
Well, they had a thing on the news last night from Midland
oh,
coming forward with all exactly the same thing as what we're doing here.
yes. So this has been, again, the reason that we decided to move forward with these style of gates is because we are kind of trying to keep in step with the improvements that are happening in Clare and in Midland with this collectively managed trail. And so they're starting a huge improvement project over in Midland County. And we're just kind of trying to walk in step with them. And there's a huge improvement project going on in Clare. So just keeping pace and finding the funding where we can. And I think, you know, with the resources that we have, we're doing a pretty good job of making those improvements alongside of them. So it's kind of exciting. And actually the design that we're using for these gates was like I said, it's a custom thing that came from the city of Midland Parks Department. So we're sort of borrowing their design. So yeah, pretty straightforward. And this will be a project that will take place probably next spring by the time the fabrication is done and all those things. So are there any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Do you use our our GIS system for the maps?
Yeah, for finding the distances and things, we did use GIS. And actually one of the things we were discussing is potentially doing an updated brochure. The Friends of the Pierre Marquette Rail Trail has a brochure that kind of encompasses the whole 30-mile stretch of the local rail trail, but we don't have a really great Isabella County specific section that would show our residents, hey, if you're looking at just the 8.25 miles that's in your county, where are the trailheads and how far are the gaps between those? GIS would be a great tool for us to use for making one of those maps and making a brochure. So that's definitely something that we're looking at and talking about doing too. I mean, this is just such a great resource and we're putting a lot of focus into bringing it up to par and putting a lot of effort into making it the best it can be for our community right now.
I have another question. Did you get that video that I sent?
I did, yes.
I got it on my
And,
phone too, so
um,
in case you can't do anything with it or.
I did get it. I think I was able to open it. I don't know if I was able to download it. I will attempt to download it today. And if I
Okay,
have
just
any
let me know.
issues, I'll reach out to you. Thank you for taking that
Yeah,
and sharing.
and I also, I'm saying, I think, in your department, is there like a bunch of people that could video stuff that you do and put it on some kind of thing? You know, especially given the millage renewal thing and all that.
Yeah, we're trying to get better about that. If you look at our Facebook recently, we're trying to be more interactive with like video content and photography and things like that. So there's some, in fact, you should look, we just did a video reel of all the bridges that are out at Deerfield Park. People didn't know there was 5 bridges out there. So we did a little walkthrough tour. So we're trying to be more hands-on with that sort of thing.
Could you send me the Facebook thing? I mean, I could share that.
Yeah, absolutely. I will today at some point. I have a sort of packed day, but at some point today I will.
Okay. You got it.
Okay,
Motion.
consider approving the Pier Marquette Rail Trail Beautification Project. Mount Pleasant Area Community Foundation Spring 2024 grant agreement for the award amount of $6,350 and authorized board chair to sign.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 6 to the regular work session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes carry. Item 6 will be forwarded to next week's county commission meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Our next item is consider approving the Mission Road Solar Decommissioning Agreement and Bond as required by section 12.05.NN 2.1 of the Isabella County zoning ordinance and authorize the board chair to sign the same. We have our Director of Community Development,
Yes, good morning.
Tim.
That is section 1205 NN2L. That's actually an L.
Is it little L?
It is small case L.
Little
Yes.
L.
It looks like a one.
It
I
looks like a 1.
three
Oh,
times,
no.
3 times when I wrote the staff report, I went back and said, that's not a 1. And it wasn't, it's an L.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they probably look like them.
They do, they look pretty. darn
Okay, well, we got that.
So basically, this is a staff report, very similar to the staff report we did with wind turbines when we brought the decommissioning plan through. So the decommissioning plan is for the process of removal of solar, basically the posts and panels in the event that there's default by DTE. This was put together by our attorney. He provided us, well, again, this is a 150 megawatt project, which includes all the landscaping collection lines. So this decommissioning is kind of taking everything back to its natural state. That's what decommissioning would do. 1205 NN2L is the section that requires them to come through. Our attorney provided me a staff sort of a walkthrough memo that explains the major functions of a decommissioning agreement. The agreement itself is 20 pages long, 21
Wow.
pages long, so it's quite a legal document. But basically, there is the requirements by the ordinance. You know, so the decommissioning agreement itself tells us where statutorily this is required. Decommissioning agreement provides us with that surety bond. That bond amount is $14,978,500. It's on the second page of this sort of Yeah, second page of that memo right there. How they got to that number, when we worked with, turbines, Apex kind of gave us a number that we didn't feel was close to our number. We went ahead and hired a company to come in, well, Spicer Engineering, basically their engineering side took a look at this, and ran some numbers for us, and we negotiated that price, almost double, for what
Good.
Apex came in at. This one, when they brought it forward, they showed us other solar projects that have been approved recently, and it was pretty much right in line with those projects. So we didn't have any issue with DTE with the amount of funding that was provided. Keep in mind, in the agreement, in the minutia, in the detail is updates of that. Every 5 years, that's to be updated. It goes up by basically through an inflation process. That number does not include any of the recoverable material, so the sale of any salvage scrap. That number does not include that. So that salvage and scrap, DTE can take and sell that afterwards if they want. Sure, but this 14,987,000 is ours to pull that out in the event that DTE defaults. If DTE doesn't default, it sits there and the bond goes away when the project is completed. Also, they have a 10-year review process. Every 10 years, they're going to hire a company to run a study to see if the value is there, to see where the value is, and they'll make adjustments to that bond every 10 years through the life of the project.
Great.
So we'll have a 5-year renewal based on inflationary numbers, and then we'll have a 10-year study every year to see where we are in line. It's a 35, 40-year project, so we'll see 3 or 4 of those over the life cycle of the project. There's also a couple of sections in there that what triggers decommissioning, what triggers the event, in the instance that we have some power outage of sorts, or they have some sort of a meltdown with regard to a substation issue, that's going to be long period of time of down for those solar panels. Doesn't necessarily require decommissioning. So there's language in there that protects us from abandonment, protects us from them just walking away from a project, protects us from sale to another company, which I just don't see with DTE. DTE is going to follow this thing right to the end.
Right. So is this an escrow? Like the wind turbines, or a difference
Yeah,
with a bond, or?
it doesn't sit in escrow.
Okay,
Our escrow that we collected from DTE covers all of our expenses for our attorney fees, for my extra travel and things we do, the meeting we held. This is a surety bond. It'll be a bond that'll be issued, I believe, within 5 days of signing of the actual agreement. They're going to post a bond in the amount of the 14 million to us. Yeah. There's a section in there that discusses how we can use funds and what we can use funds for. There's certain things we can use funds for, and there's certain things we can't use funds for. So it's something that's been reviewed by our legal counsel. They assisted in the drafting of it and are completely satisfied with it at the 14 million. So at this time, we're just basically asking the board to go ahead and authorize the chairman to sign the agreement, which then triggers the 5 days for them to post that bond to us within the 5 days. They did also provide us with, I don't know if it's color in your packet or not, but this is something that we'll keep around in our office. It's just kind of a flow chart to events that could occur through a decommissioning process and where we go and what we do with them. If we get into decommissioning issue, we'll be calling the attorney, guaranteed. He'll be walking us right through that, but they did provide it to us.
In the Michigan Associations of Counties, they are advising counties to come up with their own solar, like we have a policy and all that. And that really affects the new law that's coming in November. And so if we already had that, and I'd like to thank you so much, way before we even thought about that. And I'm so glad. And also, I think lots of these details will kind of placate some of the people that are against solar power in Isabella County. And also, because of our track record and our preparation, I think we'll probably see more coming here.
Yeah, we've received calls already since this project where we know that there's at least one quite a bit smaller scale But it's not privately owned. It's a 20-acre parcel that'll have solar across it. It's a company that'll come in and be placing that in. We've had probably a dozen of those calls. I do see probably many more of those 40-acre and less sort of private property, but yet still a company coming in, installing it. It's not privately owned, and dumping that back to the grid.
Would those entities be eligible to get grants from the Inflation Reduction Act? Like we saw some of those sources when we were considering Johnson Control.
Yeah, I'm sure that they will. Yep.
So now is a really good time for all this, right?
Yeah, you absolutely. This is the time for it right now.
We talked to this guy, who's this colleague, and he said, you know, this district, you know, the state rep district
Yep.
should be called the energy corridor. I
Mhm.
think that's a real good
Yeah, really.
characterization.
It really is with what's gone on in Gratiot, what's kind of crept all the way north here. And I do believe that between this solar project and the wind project, it's the largest co-located project in the state of Michigan. So what we have here in Isabella.
Great. Thank you for your work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good to get it.
Okay, yeah, consider approving the Mission Road Solar Decommissioning Agreement and bond as required by section 12.05.NN.2.L of the Isabel County zoning ordinance and authorize board chair to sign this.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 7 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carry, and so item 7 will be forwarded to next
Thank you very much for your time.
county, next week's.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Do we, anybody have any announcements?
Nope.
Any public?
There's no one online at this time, Mr. Chairman.
That being the case, I'll adjourn the meeting of the Public Works and Human Resources Committee.
Good.